I like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, like a dirty thought in a nice, clean mind.
Welcome back to the Liberal Lens. I'm Jay, and let's talk about Donald Trump's $12 billion bailout of the farmers and why this hurts Americans, why this is Trump trying to fix a situation that he created, and why we really shouldn't have sympathy for the farmers and be bailing them out. But Donald Trump announced that he's going to do a $12 billion bailout for farmers. The same group who voted for him in large margin 3 times. When they already knew what was going to happen to them and what his policies would do to farming, yet they chose to vote for hate over their own farms. And Donald Trump, once again, is going to bail them out using Americans' money. And I know he's saying it's from tariffs, and we'll get to that even more, but it's not. It's not coming from tariffs. And his tariffs are what caused the farmers to need a bailout. So again, Trump creates this problem, and then he bails them out as a solution to the problem he created. So Donald Trump proposing this $12 billion bailout for farmers, it rewards harmful policies. This is to begin with. He has awful policies. His tariffs cause this. We lose traction in selling American goods because of his tariffs, as in like soybeans. There's others, but we'll use this as an example because it's a big one. They lose China buying these soybeans from America, and it's never coming back. They're never going to come back and purchase soybeans from America like they have before. Trump killed the soybean market and other markets that have to do with farmers with his bullshit tariff war and trade war he wanted when he first came in. And then he tries to tout like tariffs made us all this money. You just tax the American people. That's all tariffs are. We're past this already. Anybody who still doesn't believe tariffs are a tax on the American people are just being willfully ignorant. And they're trying to come up with any way to defend their cult leader. Because everybody has seen, every major economic report in the world has said tariffs are a tax on the people. We've already been through it in other videos on how Americans end up paying for the tariffs because the business itself is never going to take a loss. So all of that gets passed on to the American consumer. And by bailing them out, it's creating harmful policies that the American people should bail out other people who vote for the person who puts in these bad policies. And the fact is, people are like, we need to save the farms. There's all these people who are going to inherit farms and not be able to afford to be farmers. They're not the ones who are getting the majority of help anyway. Big corporations own huge farms, and they're going to take most of this money. And it's not going to go to the small farmers. They're going to get most of this $12 billion, feeding more rich people more money for Trump's bailouts. It also sets a bad moral hazard. And I know people are like, what? A moral hazard. By giving recurring payments to the farmers, it reduces the need for farmers to be productive. It reduces the need for farmers to vote for people who are going to help farmers so they can just keep voting for their hillbilly hate. And they know that Donald Trump's going to run and give them free money, so they don't really have to do anything, and they can just collect money for owning a farm, which creates moral hazard in bad practices. So if somebody was giving you money not to work, are you going to be focused on building your business, voting for the right people to help you, voting for the right people who are going to put in the right policies to help your business? No, you don't have to worry about it because you know the government's just going to keep funding you as it fails. And it doesn't solve the long-term problem. It doesn't restore any of the market or bring market stability back to farming. It doesn't bring market stability back to soybeans. It doesn't bring market stability back to corn. And we can keep going. It hurts market stability, which again makes it an ongoing problem that we, the people, have to keep paying for because the farmers voted against their own interest in droves. 3 times they voted against their own interest, and they knew what was going to happen. And if they would have just read Project 2025, they would have known that this was literally one of Trump's administration's top goals, was to weaken the supply chain for the farmer so they can control it. And also so small farms lose their business to major corporations who do the majority of the farming in the United States. It is not mom and pop farms anymore. It's corporations buying up huge farming land and farming industrially. So these corporations are going to get the bailout. And what we've seen is corporations, anytime they get a bailout, they don't have to have a structure. They don't have to stabilize the market. They don't have to invest their money because the American people are just going to keep bailing them out. And the fact that, it only really helps the large corporations and not the mom and pop farmers, because they really don't exist that more in the grand scheme of things. And yes, there's people out there can point out people like my neighbor Timmy still owns a farm, or my Aunt Jeannie still owns a farm. Yeah, it happens. It's very rare nowadays, and they get bought up by big corporations who do industrial farming because everything nowadays is for major profit. And the illusion that it's not coming from the taxpayers and that it's going to be paid for by the tariffs is completely false. This is going to be paid for by the USDA programs funded through the Commodities Credit Corporation, often relied on government borrowing, not direct tariff recipients. So the money is not coming from the tariffs. They are taking it from the USDA programs, which again, the American people fund with our taxes, even though tariffs are a tax. This is a tax that we do to help farmers, but not to bail them out at $12 billion. We can't have health care. We can't have low cost on groceries, but you can find $12 billion to give farmers. The farmers are ones who created this problem by voting for Deep Throat Donnie, but yet us American people are supposed to be the ones who pick up the slack for people who make bad decisions when it comes to their own businesses. I don't think we should be giving them a dime. You know my theory. Fuck around and find out. That's what farmers did. No sympathy for MAGA. You overwhelmingly voted for him 3 different times. My opinion is now you reap what you sow, because you already killed the stability of the market. It's not coming back. Farming now is going to become harder and harder because of the Trump policies. But yet us, the American people, are supposed to keep bailing you out for bad decisions and weakening your own market. Make that make sense. And I know some people are going to jump in the comments, tell me I'm stupid, call me all kinds of shit. Make that make sense. MAGA, if you want to get in the comments and you want to have a productive discussion, make it make sense. Tell me how I'm wrong and tell me how this helps the farmers, except just pushing the problem off another year. It doesn't guarantee that markets will recover. It doesn't guarantee prices will recover. We just talked about it's not gonna. It's an unstable market. They ruined our ability to sell these products to other countries. China is not coming back. Other countries are giving China a ton of soybeans. All Trump did was help China weaken us even more by ruining the market. And now, again, he wants us to pick up the bill for his bad policies. When you set a precedent that you do not have to invest your own money, you do not have to try to do the things to change your market plan to fix problems in your business model, it really sets a precedent of being stuck in a place where you need bailouts all the time. And these are the same people who went around talking about nobody wants to work, everybody wants something for free. You guys are getting the biggest welfare bailout of anybody, and Trump did it last time too, after he created the fucking problem to bail you out from last time. But you guys are so hateful that you're willing to kill your own business to vote for the man who causes problems in your business. I'm not saying what Biden did was perfect. I'm not saying Biden was the best president, but there was $1 trillion more circling through the farmers before Trump's policies. That's $1 trillion less in the market. Again, back to market stabilization. It is hard to get stable again when you lost an influx of $1 trillion. But yet, everybody's like, $12 billion bailout for the farmers. I even see people on the left defending this because, oh, farmers need our help. We won't survive without farmers. It's not mom and pop farmers anymore. It's big industry, and they will survive. They will figure it out, and they will put their own money into it. But not as long as we keep bailing them out, not as long as it's the taxpayers who are floating the bill and not making them have responsible business practices. Nothing's going to change until they have to bail themselves out. I hear this all the time when it comes to millennials and Gen Z. Oh, strap up your boots, get out to work, stop buying avocado toast, and you'll be able to afford life. Well, we all know that's bullshit, and that's a whole nother podcast that we could go through. But maybe these big industrial corporations of farming should have to strap up their straps, invest their own money, and make it on their own instead of making the American people foot the bill for your bad choices, for Trump's bad policies. It is time for the Senate to stand up, for Congress to stand up, and for the American people to stand up and say, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to put our country even more in debt to bail out people who were part of the problem. In the 11 months that Trump has been in office, he has added $2.2 trillion to the debt. If you take out COVID, that is the most increase in U.S. history to the debt. Trump has added more to the debt in his first term and his first year of this term than all presidents combined. And he just keeps spending like there is a golden faucet. And yeah, because everything he put into the White House now is like gold plated, and he ripped down the East Wing, which we're supposed to pay for. I know they say it's donations, but we know when it's all said and done, we're going to see a bill that the taxpayers are going to have to pay for. And it's just more shit he doesn't care about as long as he can keep spending. Being president is nothing but the golden faucet or the golden goose for the Trump administration. They don't care about the American people. They don't care about the people who are struggling. This is the same guy who's saying affordability is a Democratic hoax. How detached are you? He keeps talking about oil prices and gas prices going down in the stock market. One, oil and gas always fluctuate. Two, the stock market is not indicative to what is going on with the American people. They are so clueless, or like I've been saying, they know exactly what they're doing. They just think we're fucking dumb. They think we are so dumb that they can say whatever they want and we'll just believe it. And for a long time, 50% of the country was there. Now we are seeing people starting to wake up. Not enough and not fast enough, but we are seeing people waking up to what Trump and his administration are doing. But again, why should we bail out the farmers who knew exactly what was going to happen? It's laid out in Project 2025. He hurt the farmers in his first term, yet you guys in majority have voted 3 times for Donald Trump. I say no bailout. Fuck around and find out. No sympathy for MAGA. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about the bailout. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me. Let me know where you think I'm wrong. We can have a discussion about this. I know if your MAGA facts confuse you and you won't have a discussion and you're just going to call me a libretard and whatever else clever thing you think you're saying. But anybody who wants to have a real discussion, drop it in the comments. Let's talk about this. The only way we start to fix problems is by coming together and sourcing ideas. And I'm not saying I can't be wrong. It's happened like once before. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But no, we all need to have these discussions because this is how we crowdsource information, right? And this is how we get better. This is part of the reason that America is failing right now is because we've lost our identity that got us to where we were before Donald Trump. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support on Facebook. I love you for it. Please go over to YouTube, hit that subscribe so you always can follow the content. And like I said, it's probably going to come a day where I piss off Mr. Zuckerberg and Meta either kicks me off the platform or suspends my account for a while. So if that happens, you'll be able to find us on YouTube. And like I said, once the football season's over, my boy Maddie going to be doing some videos for you all. I got some other people who want to do some videos, so keep your eyes open. We are going to have a group of people, hopefully on this channel, that are fighting to move the liberal voice of America forward and combat all the conservative shows there are out there right now spreading disinformation. That is the biggest thing we can do, is fight against the disinformation, because it has become a tool for the Republican Party, and we need to stand up and fight back against this. So hitting that subscribe button really helps. Hitting that follow button really helps on the fight. Please like, comment, and share. One world, one love. Deuces.
Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it.
This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial?
You out there?